unanswered questions are usually conversations between you and yourself. And when you feel like it's the world against you, most of the time it's just you against yourself. So we don't really know what we're doing around here. We're just going with it. So this is our question number 1 for today.
Hey Joyce and Aaron, my name is Marian and I'm a fan from Bacolod. I have a question for you guys. What do you do with questions in your life that were left unanswered, and how do you find peace in not knowing? I love you both, and I will be waiting for more podcast episodes.
I think the biggest takeaway here is ghosting, because that is the utmost unanswered question, because it's like, where the hell did this person go? I thought that things were going great. And I have been both the ghost and the ghosted. More often than not, I am the ghosted. That's just the way that it goes. But have you ever ghosted someone?
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. I mean, I wish that every single person that I've dated gave me an explanation. I deserve to know what went wrong. I deserve to know, why it didn't work. But at the same time, when the shoe is on the other foot, we don't necessarily give that to other people because we're afraid that we might hurt the person.
The thing is, you already hurt them by leaving.
Yes.
And I guess the common courtesy that you can do is to just have that conversation. And here's the thing. I'm setting the bar really low. And I'm saying this because I wish I had been better. I wish I didn't ghost anyone. I could have just gone and texted them, I'm really sorry, this isn't working out. And, and not have a confrontation or conversation of any sort. I'm sorry I didn't have the courage to face you because I knew that it would probably cause more damage and more harm than good. Ayaw mo pa rin. And here's the thing, okay? Here's my theory. I have a theory. I have a theory. And this is something that my husband would always tell me. One of the biggest harms that I bring into this relationship is the bad habit I have of assuming what I'm going to make my husband feel, instead of allowing him to be man enough to feel whatever he will feel. And the common mistake that people make is that we think we're smart enough, or we think that we know this person enough to know how they will react. But time and time again, I've noticed that people have the capacity to react differently or better even. And the only way that you'll really find out which way they will go is if you lay things down on them in a neutral standpoint. But obviously, that's hard.
Yes.
This is all theory.
That's my problem. I do not have the testicular fortitude to do that sometimes. For instance, Joyce, it was you, and you got ghosted. What are you supposed to do?
Here's the thing. When you don't have the answer to questions, you always have to go with options that give you the most peace. Okay, this person has ghosted you. For example, this person has ghosted you for around 2 or 3 weeks now. You're supposed to be talking, like every day kayo nag-uusap ng quarantine, tapos biglang nung na-lift na naging GCQ, biglang bang! Hindi na siya nag-reply kaagad. Tapos, alam mo yun, hindi na siya nag-review ng stories mo sa Instagram. Oh, bakit Aaron na tayo? Your face.
Napasama kaya tayo.
Okay, basta bigla silang nag-ghost. If you're the type of person that finds peace in confrontation, tapos hindi pa rin sila nag-reply, you have the option of being that crazy person to still wallow in that situation and wallow in that relationship, or you could get a clue and realize that they're just not that into you. What?
Ang sakit.
Pero totoo! Okay, when you send that message and they don't even care to reply to you and even talk to you as an adult, and you have to realize that the people who don't care enough to tell you how they feel or to tell you how you made them feel, probably doesn't care enough to have a relationship with you.
This
right?
episode.
For me, another very important thing is I always believe that God is in control, that God is sovereign above all. And so I always look at relationships and questions, relationships that don't work out and questions that are unanswered as sort of a blessing in disguise. If I don't go through these kinds of bumps and difficulties in relationships and friendships, I probably wouldn't be a good friend also in the future. Two, I look at this as sort of a filtration system for my life. If this person isn't willing to do the bare minimum for me and I'm giving them the maximum effort, that's a way for you to really scour through the good ones and take away the bad ones.
Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will. What you would want is to be able to live with unanswered questions. You can't live with what people don't do. It's what you can live with what you have been able to do. You were able to do everything in your power to try and get to an answer. And if an answer wasn't given, that is the answer.
Precisely, Parts. Are you preaching to yourself?
Yes, that's why I was looking at myself in the Zoom. I was like, Aaron, listen!
Also, I wanted to add, certain unanswered questions might feel like they have such a heavy weight on you at the moment. It'll probably feel that way for the next few weeks or for the next few months. But here's the wonderful thing about human life and human nature. You will get past it. Time really does heal all wounds. Some of the things that I used to carry around with so much weight have just dilapidated and have disappeared. And the way that happened was I didn't dwell on the unanswered questions. I just kept for other questions that I could answer for myself, like, where am I going to go next? What am I going to do next? Who will I become? I kept answering those questions for myself, so much so that I eventually forgot about the unanswered questions.
I always believed that there will always, questions will always be there. But there will come a time where someone will come into your life that will answer all of the other questions that were unanswered. And I see that with Joyce.
That's right. So, I love all the answers that we gave here on this episode, but hopefully it's something that Marianne could relate to and could really help her in her situation or her friend's situation. Hindi natin alam kung si Marianne yun or yung friend niya. Diba?
Yeah.
Hindi tayo sure. Okay, Parts, meron ka pa bang last few insights that you'd like to share with Marianne?
If you feel like your unanswered questions are getting heavier and heavier and you're wondering, why is it here? It's okay, okay? It's okay to have unanswered questions. Now, if you feel like it's getting too much and your unanswered questions are still weighing you down, that's where I agree with Joyce. Bring in an outside source. Talk to your friends about it because, again, you need fresh eyes on old situations. They might have solutions that you might not have thought of. Unanswered questions are usually conversations between you and yourself. And when you feel like it's the world against you, most of the time it's just you against yourself. So just make sure that those unanswered questions, sometimes you need someone with you to help you guide you through that. Mine, as you can see through this episode, is that person.
You are pointing at a wall, Parts.
Is that person.
And with that, we end this episode on yet another polarizing, serious to very, very idiotic comments of a shot of sanity. Thank you very much, Marianne, for that great question. We hope that you find peace and we hope that this episode helped you out. If you have any questions also, you could send it over to us.
Yes, please make sure you head on over to www.joycepring.com or through the Anchor app. You can send voice messages as well as through the Facebook group, Shot of Sanity SOS podcast, the Facebook group. I think we're gonna hit maybe about 500 people by today, which is unreal. And to everyone that is tuning in on Spotify and all your favorite on your Apple Podcasts or all of that, we are number 2 in the country, and I have absolutely no idea how. It bogs my mind. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. You guys are so much more awesome sauce than you will ever understand. We love you guys, and this has been another episode. That was fun.
That was fun. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Talk to you guys tomorrow again. Paalam.
Until next time, peace.
And that's it for this episode. If you'd like to continue the conversation, go to www.joycepring.com. And if you want to support the podcast, go to patreon.com/adultingwithjoycepring. I'll talk to you guys soon. Paalam.